So if you see from customer side, customer will have basically the two type of system in their backend. We can say one will be SAP system, second will be the non-SAP system, or we can say non-ERP system. And for this, both the like system, either it is SAP system or non-SAP system, for both SAP has given the different integration to perform the integration. And even as SAP has clearly mentioned that if customer they have the SAP in their backend, like SAP S/4HANA, in that case they have to go with the CIG. And basically CIG stands for Cloud Integration Gateway. So this technology we have to use whenever like customer they will have their backend system as a SAP system. And in other cases, like if the customer they have non-SAP system, in that case they have to use ITK, and basically ITK is like a stand for integration tool. Integration tool. Okay. So these are the two technologies are available to integrate the SAP Ariba solutions with the backend SAP system, and mainly we are from the mostly like most of you from SAP background, so we mainly talk about the CIG part, Cloud Integration Gateway part, like on the high level, as a high level overview. We will not discuss about the ITK because ITK is applicable for the non-ERP system. For example, we can say Maximo, PeopleSoft, or Oracle. So in that case, basically, we have to go with the ITK. Otherwise, we have to use the CIG part. Okay. And one more thing I would like to add here. So in certain cases, like let's say your customer, they are already using some middleware. Like we can say SAP PI or PO. Even I saw one question in the chat window as well. So if the customer they are using the any middleware like SAP PO or PI or PO, in that case, like SAP is recommending, like if the customer, your customer, they want to use the CIG part on top of the middleware, like on the SAP PI or PO. So we have the flexibility, we can use the CIG part on top of the PI PO as well. That means no need to change the landscape. So whatever landscape is available, no need to migrate, and we can simply install and we can adopt the CIG part to the customer landscape, and we can integrate like that tier as Ariba system with the backend SAP system. Now I'm going to show you like one example. Like let's say customer they have basically took the license of the Ariba sourcing module, and rest of the activity they are going to do in the backend SAP system. In that case, what will be the process flow or how it looks like? That's something I'm going to show you. Okay. In this slide, basically, it is like explaining the process flow. Like in certain cases, wherever we will have that integration with Ariba sourcing module.
Rohit, again, your slide is not there. Only the notepad is there.
I'm sorry.
Maybe you need to reshare it.
Yeah, I'm doing it. And thank you. I'm sorry. I hope it is visible for everyone.
Yeah. Now we can see the slide now.
Okay, thank you. Okay. So in this slide, basically, it is explaining the process like when the customer they will have their in backend they have the SAP system, either it could be a S/4HANA system or it could be SAP GCC, or in one side they will have the Ariba sourcing solutions. In that case, what will be the process flow or how we can design the customer that their business process, like accordingly they will perform or they will be able to integrate their system like one system to the another system. So in this case, basically, if you see this diagram, so in the first step, like we can see we have the first block, and this first block is representing your SAP S/4HANA system. Second block, basically, we have the Ariba CIG, that is the CIG Cloud Integration Gateway tools that will be available in the second block. And in third block, basically, we have the Ariba network platform. So as we know, like Ariba network is the complementary, complementary for the every buyer and supplier. That means whenever a buyer, they have to purchase any of the product from the supplier. So from buyer side and from supplier side, both have to adopt this Ariba network platform. So this is basically the complementary option, and everyone like from buyer side and from supplier side, they have to adopt this platform. That is why it is available like the Ariba network after this Ariba CIG part. And in the last, basically, we have the Ariba platform. This is basically Ariba sourcing platform, like that is where like a business customer can perform all the sourcing activity based on their requirement. So this will be the landscape in like a case of the integration. And if we talk about the process flow, so basically the customer, they have to start their process from the RFQ state. Even they can also create the purchase equation as well. Like if your customer, they are following like creating the purchase equation first, and after that they are converting in the RFQ request for quotation, they can do. Otherwise, they can create directly the request for quotation in their SAP S/4HANA system. And when the RFQ will be created in the like Esperana system, it will be transmitted automatically, like based on some configuration. So we have to set up some configuration, and in that one we also have to do some configuration, and we also required some the integration consultant as well. So we have to do some setup, and based on the setup, this RFQ information will automatically will be transmitted from this backend Esperana system to your CIG part. And basically, in very simple word or in the layman language, what is the basically integration or what role the CIG is playing here. So we can see the information is flowing with the help of the IDOC, right? But when it is crossing to CIG block, so it is converting in the CXML language only. That means before we have the IDOC and after that we have the CXML part. So as you know, like SAP have the different language and Ariba have the different language. So this CIG portal basically acting as the translator. What it will do basically, it will translate that SAP system, SAP language to the Ariba language. So whatever language that Ariba is accepting that something language, it will do the translation. Same way, when the information will arrive from the Ariba side, it will also translate the information in the SAP language. So it is also acting as a translator. So what will happen, like RFQ information will be flow via the IDOC to the CIG portal, and in the CIG portal, basically the translation will happen and the information will be automatically converted in the CXML language. Ariba is basically supporting the CXML language, and it will system will try to pass the information in the CXML language. And the same information, like RFQ information, will also reach out to this Ariba network portal as well. But this is basically the buyer portal from customer portal, like it is flowing from the customer side. Here, like supplier like portal or supplier side will not come in the picture. So it will flow to the Ariba network to the buyer portal, and from here it will route to the sourcing module. So in the sourcing module, when this RFQ information will arrive, so system will automatically generate the sourcing request. That means whatever RFQ information we created in our S/4HANA system, that something system will automatically convert in the sourcing request. We'll have the same information, and some of the information will be automatically removed. Like for example, I would say supplier information, and we will have only some basic information, and system will generate the sourcing request. And on the Ariba side, like whatever solutions are there, like based on the sourcing request, the customer would like to go with the pricing negotiation, or they would like to go with some different auction part, or they would like to go with that information negotiation. So whatever activity the customer they would like to perform, they have to basically perform on the Ariba platform. So in the last, basically what they have to do, they have to do the awarding. Awarding basically is called as the supplier selection. That means in the last, when we receive all the responses from the supplier, we have to confirm to system, like we have find out the supplier, and this supplier we are selecting. So in the last, basically we have to do the awarding in the Ariba side. Once we will do the awarding, we will have some outcome. Generally, what outcome we are getting, like whenever we are doing some negotiation with the supplier, we will have supplier information, we will have item information, like for which item we discussed with the supplier, and we will have the quantity and the price as well. So this outcome basically we will receive on the Ariba platform, Ariba side, as the outcome of the sourcing solutions. And this outcome basically will again transmitted to to S/4HANA system. So awarding information again it will come to the Ariba network platform, and again it will come to this like CIG portal. That CIG will do the translation, it will change the language, and it will automatically transmit to your S/4HANA system. And based on the choice, whatever choice that business has selected, like during performing the sourcing activity, either if they would like to create the purchase like a purchase order, the system will automatically generate the purchase order, or if they have selected to create the contract automatically, that system will automatically generate the contract here. And as usual, like if they have selected as purchase order or the contract, they can start their operation activity. So like that, like that we will have the different scenario based on the integration part, and this integration we can achieve with the help of the CIG. Either we are using the CIG as the standalone. Standalone means I would say without the PIPO, without the middleware, or if we are using the middleware, in that case as well, like process flow will be like looks like this. And we have to basically design the process based on the integration part. So whatever solutions the customer they have, accordingly we have to design the process, and we have to that like work with the integration consultant to design the system as well, so that whatever the process the customers they are expecting, that should be available to the customers. Okay, now let me jump to this some technical point of view. So we will talk about some CIG part. Basically in detail level we will talk some other session but now basically I'm going to give some high level overview, like whenever we have to use the CIG. So during the integration, whatever the configuration we have to perform, or whatever the process step, basically that's something we have to do in order to integrate Ariba solutions with the S/4HANA system. And even in that case, we also have to perform some configuration in your S/4HANA system as well, or we have to do some configuration on the CIG portal. We have to do some configuration on the Ariba side. So overall, we have to do some set of the activity. Let me quickly open one more slide and I'll try to show you that part as well. Okay. Now in this slide, we can see we have some set of the activity that basically we have to perform whenever we have to do the integration. And normally we have to perform over like a high level, we have to perform 16 to 17 steps to integrate our S/4HANA system with the SAP Ariba solution. So in that case, basically we have to do some different activity. Like in the first step, we have to some download and install the add-on. This step is basically very important. Without doing this activity, we cannot proceed our integration part. Why? Actually, if you see, whatever tools we are going to use to integrate our our solutions, whatever the tools or integration mechanism we are going to use, we will say we are going to use the CIG part. We will use the CIG part to integrate our SAP Ariba with our backend SAP system, our S/4HANA system as well. So definitely in that case, we require to perform some CIG specific configuration, or we also require to perform some Ariba specific configuration as well. But if you see in your S/4HANA system now, so we will not be able to find out that particular configuration option. Why? Because of the missing of this add-on. So what basically we have to do, we have to first download and install the add-on. Ariba is providing the Ariba specific, or I would say CIG specific add-on, that basically we have to do in our S/4HANA system first. Once we'll do this activity, so all the CIG specific or Ariba specific configuration will be available in our S/4HANA system, and later we can perform all the configuration. Like that, in the next basically we have to perform download and install the cloud connector. And this cloud connector is also playing a very important role. Why? If you see the landscape, if you see the architecture of the solutions, Ariba side, what system we have? We have the cloud platform. In S/4HANA system, what solutions we have, or what platform we have? We will say we have the on-premise solution. That means we are going to integrate the cloud solutions with the on-premise solutions. So how system will identify which in on-premise system the system has to expect, system has to accept. That means we are going to create the linkage, or or we are going to link the two different systems as the on-premise to the cloud solutions, or we can say cloud to the on-premise solutions. That is why we require this cloud connector. So basically, cloud connector is playing the role to connecting the on-premise solutions with the cloud solutions. Okay, so this activity basically we have to do also in our backend SAP system, and after that basically we have to enable this cloud integration gateway. So this is a very important activity. That's something Ariba shared service team they are doing by on itself. They will enable that CIG part basically to the customer side, and they will activate the CIG to our that Ariba solution. After that, basically we have to perform some set of the configuration. We have to configure the RFC, we have to configure the logical system, we have to configure the code, We have to provide the service number as well. So all this activity basically we have to do in the fourth step. And in fifth step, basically, we have to that send the SAP connectivity data to CIG. So this is also a very important step, because if you see in Ariba side, we may have, or might be customer may have only two different systems. Like they can purchase the Ariba license and they will have the two landscape. They will have the test side and they will have the production side itself. Might be if they would require, the Ariba can also provide the development side as well and even the sandbox side as well. So based on the licensing cost, Ariba can offer all the different sides. But if you see in that like our S/4HANA system, so normally in the S/4HANA system, we will able to see the 3-tier architecture. Like we will have the development, we will have the quality side, and we will have the production side as well. So which S/4HANA system you would like to integrate with your like SAP Ariba solutions? That information basically we have to send from the backend SAP system, from the S/4HANA system to the Ariba solutions. That activity basically we have to do in the fifth step. And after this, we have to perform some integration configuration part basically. So we have to go on the CIG portal and we have to that create some integration project. We have to specify the particular documents, like which documents you would like to the transmit from the Ariba to backend SAP system. That information basically we have to specify on the sixth step. Later, we have to do some middleware setting as well, but that's something optional. So if customer, like in customer landscape, if they already have like SAP PIPO middleware, in that case, if they would like to use the CIG on top of that, we have the flexibility, we can enable the middleware part as well. So further, basically, Ariba has given some separate configuration, and that is why they kept in as the optional. So if they require, we can perform this activity as well. That's something is also available, and we can use CIG on top of the PIPO also. After that, we have to do some other setting, like some general settings. In that case, we have to perform some document status configuration. We have to set up some interfaces, like whatever CIG interfaces we are going to use. That's something specific configuration we have to do. And later we have to move to other configuration. We have to do the preparation for that master data import. So whatever master data, that's something we would like to import from your S/4HANA system to the Ariba. We have to work on that part, and we have to maintain the table information, whatever data you would like to push from your S/4HANA system to your Ariba solutions. For example, we would like to push company code, plant information, GL account, cost center, supply information. Those information basically we have to do the setup in the S/4HANA system. Okay. And later, basically, we have to perform some transaction specific configuration, whatever transaction flow we would like to do. The customer would like to do. That's something we have to perform those configuration, and we have to do some cross-reference value setting as well. That basically we have to do on the CIG portal. So in that basically cross-reference value, we have to set up. We have to do mapping of the unit of measure. We have to do some setup of that document information. Those activity basically we have to do. And if required, we can also implement some extension and bodies as well, or we can add some XLLT as well in this CIG portal, just to that it's basically more technical. And on the certain cases, basically we have to use. And after that, we have to review all the configuration, and we have to perform the end-to-end testing. So we have to do all the testing, whatever the comprehensive testing, that's something we require, we have to do. And once everything will be fine and we will have the business approval, we can go live, or we will be ready for the deployment. So these are the activity basically we have to do from the integration point of view. So I just explained at a high level overview, and that is just only for your understanding purpose. And mainly we have to work as the Ariba functional consultant, and we have to mainly design the system. So based on that, customer Ariba license, we have to design the system. If you talk about procurement cycle, so if customer, they have that, even Ariba is also offering the procurement module as well. And in that case, whatever P2P activity we are doing, customer has the flexibility. They can perform some set of the activity in their S/4HANA system, some set of the activity they can do on the Ariba platform. So whatever the requirement will be there from customer side, accordingly, we have to design the system, and some set of the configuration we have to do from the CIG specific.